Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Why did this catch your attention? Why did you click on a title that quietly says, "This is about you"? You weren't searching for entertainment. You aren't looking for facts. You were looking for yourself. And what's strange is that you probably do this all the time. Videos about your personality, your habits, your trauma, your thinking patterns, your attachment style, your childhood wounds, your overthinking, your anxiety, your ambition. So here's the real question. Why are you so drawn to content that feels like it's watching you back? Every human being carries a quiet, persistent fear. Nobody truly understands me. And then a video appears. It names your thoughts, it finishes your sentences, it exposes things you've never said out loud. And for a moment, something inside you exhales. Finally, someone sees me. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That feeling of being seen isn't intimacy. It's pattern recognition. Your brain is fundamentally wired to notice information that reflects your own identity. Psychologists call this self-referential processing. When information relates directly to you, your brain stores it deeper, faster, and with far more emotional weight. In other words, your brain doesn't just watch these videos, it absorbs them as identity input. This is why they hit harder than comedy, harder than the news, harder than simple entertainment. They feel deeply personal, even when they are designed for millions. But there's another layer to this. Here's something most people don't realize. Your brain absolutely hates not knowing why you are the way you are, why you self-sabotage, why you overthink, why you crave attention one moment and pull away the next, why you procrastinate, why you just feel different. Uncertainty about your own identity creates a kind of psychological tension, and tension always demands a resolution. That's where these videos come in. They offer a cause, a label, a reason, a story that makes sense of the chaos. And the moment you're given a reason, the moment the puzzle piece clicks into place, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical involved in addiction. Not because the answer feels good, but because it feels resolved. The tension is gone. Understanding yourself becomes a reward loop, and suddenly one video is never enough. Now, here's where it gets unsettling. You think you're choosing these videos, but the algorithm already knows. It knows when you're tired. It knows when you're lonely. It knows when your motivation dips and when you start questioning yourself. It doesn't just track what you watch. It tracks how long you hesitate before clicking. It tracks when you replay a certain part. It tracks when you scroll faster and when you stop completely. Over time, it uses this data to build a psychological mirror, a perfect digital version of your inner patterns. That's why once you watch one self-focused video, you don't get shown comedy. You don't get shown something new. You get shown more of you. A different voice maybe, a different face, but the same identity questions, the same emotional pressure points. You are being guided into an identity feedback loop where the algorithm shows you who it thinks you are and you click to confirm it. The mirror it holds up becomes more and more convincing until it's hard to tell if you're looking at a reflection or a blueprint. At first, all those self-focused videos, they feel empowering. You scroll, you watch, and you think to yourself, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm finally becoming more self-aware. It feels like progress. It feels like you're taking control. But then, after a while, something shifts. It's subtle at first. You stop living inside your experiences, and you start observing yourself living them, as if you're watching a character in a movie. You don't just feel anxious anymore. You analyze your anxiety while it's happening. You're cataloging the symptoms, tracing the triggers, narrating your own panic attack in real time. You don't just feel sadness, you label it, you categorize it, you dissect it until the raw feeling is gone, replaced by a neat little box with a definition inside. Eventually, your entire inner life turns into this never-ending diagnostic process. And here's the twist. The hidden cost no one really talks about. Too much self-analysis weakens your intuition. You stop trusting your own gut reactions. You second-guess your emotions, wondering if they fit the model you just learned about. You stop trusting your own instincts. Instead, you wait. You wait for another video, another article, another voice to tell you what it is you're actually feeling. And this is where the silent identity drift begins. When you consume too much content about who you are, you slowly, quietly stop asking who you want to become. Your identity becomes a museum of explanations. You walk through the halls of your own mind and see the exhibits. Yes, I'm avoidant because of my childhood. Over here, you'll see I overwork because of unresolved trauma. And this one, I can't commit because of my attachment style. And look, those explanations, they may be completely accurate. But when your identity becomes an explanation instead of a direction, your growth slows to a crawl. You become fluent in the language of your reasons, but hesitant, almost paralyzed in your actions. And the scariest part? At some point, you might just stop changing because your identity, it finally feels complete. Not healed, not whole, just explained. So why are you still here, listening to this? Why didn't you just click away? Because part of you isn't just trying to understand yourself. Part of you is trying to reclaim yourself, to find the person underneath all the labels, under the patterns, under the algorithms that think they have you figured out, under the coping mechanisms you built like a fortress. You're not just looking at a reflection, you're searching for permission. Permission to become more than the sum of your past explanations. Here is the final truth. You don't keep consuming this content because you're broken. You do it because you're curious, you're self-aware, you're trying to grow. You are quietly, relentlessly searching for meaning. But please, remember this. Understanding yourself is powerful, but becoming yourself is transformational. You don't need to perfectly explain every single wound before you're allowed to move forward. You don't need a label for every feeling before you have the right to take action. You don't need a diagnosis for every fear before you earn the chance to rise. At some point, the mirror has to be set down, and life, it has to be lived again. Because the real version of you, the one you're searching for, isn't found in the algorithm. It's not in the next explanation. It's built. It's built in the moments you stop watching and start choosing.
All right, or if you just felt a little too seen, don't worry, and that means your self-awareness just leveled up. But remember, understanding yourself is powerful. Acting on that understanding is unstoppable. You are not just your habits, your past, or your overthinking brain. You're the one choosing what happens next. So when you close this app, take one bold step today, and if your brain tries to talk you out of it, tell it I said, nice try. I'll see you in the next one, and thanks for visiting.